It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, what a Monday we've got. We got a playoff. We know that for sure. The Liberty Bowl's going to get the air raid. They're going to get cowbells, and no one knows this yet. There is a tradition at Texas Tech where they go guns up. No, I'm not talking about the guns up because that could be politically incorrect these days. No, this is on the opening kickoff, whether it's them or the opposition, they throw tortillas. I'm thinking about grabbing one while it's in the air and then having like a little pocket of cheese or something and just do a tortilla melt somehow at the Liberty Bowl. It's cool.
It'll be too cold, Dave, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's probably true. Anyway, I'm excited. You get a tortilla throw. What a deal. We're going to try to talk with Steve Earhart a little bit later in the week. Probably the most thought about story this week is that the University of Memphis basketball team has come to a crossroads. It was not a pretty sight at the Pavilion in Oxford. It was baffling to a certain extent. Free throw shooting, my goodness, I don't understand how you could be that poor at a free throw when you practice it all the time. And this has been a theme for a long time now. This is not new with the free throw shooting. I don't know if we practice dunks and threes too much and not enough free throws. That was awful. And, of course, just the turnovers and the points off turnovers are really the difference in the game. And then the discussion, first on radio, we got Josh Minot, who's just basically saying everybody seems to be a hero. Nobody wants to play team ball. And that there is a schism in the locker room. And then Penny Hardaway basically said that the new players have not been welcomed by the old players. Revolution almost within the locker room. Nobody comfortable. Even when they were 5-0, it was not a welcoming, easy place. There have been tensions all along. And now when you lose, it comes to a head, and it is not pretty. It is not pretty at all. And I'm not sure where you go. You've got finals going on this week, so they get away from each other for a little bit. I don't know how much practice there will be, but they're taking tests, and they're not playing until Friday. Then it's Murray State, which is a game they will be favored in. They will fall out of the top 25 for sure today. And then they've got maybe mission impossible. They will play Alabama at home next week, and Alabama is fresh off of a win over Gonzaga.
What a game.
Gonzaga plays good games. Man, that's the way you play the game, too. They move the ball. They've got stars, but they seem to all want to play together. And even though they've lost twice now, it's a crazy year for basketball, right? I mean, Purdue's going to be the number one team in the country. It'll be the third team in here the fourth week or fifth week, whatever it is. And you've got great teams like Gonzaga losing and Duke losing, and, you know, Michigan was up there. How many top 10 teams have already lost? I'm going to say 6 or 7.
Something like that, yeah.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But then you're going to follow that up with Tennessee and Nashville the following Saturday.
Doesn't get any easier.
No. My gosh. I mean, you look at it, and realistically, if you just look at the way it's favored, by the time you get into conference play, you're going to be, because you got Alabama State, like 7-5. 7-5 for a team we were all certain was going to the NCAA tournament.
I think for the same reason they lost at Georgia and Ole Miss, though, I'm fairly confident about Alabama. I shouldn't say confident, but I think Alabama could easily be a win for the same reasons, or at least some of the same reasons why you lost at Ole Miss and Georgia. It's hard to win on the road in college basketball.
Well, you know what? And I'm not disputing that, and I'm not counting Penny out at all. But I am saying this: you've got to come together. If you've got a player in a postgame show saying he's confused and baffled and he was hurt, you could see it in his eyes. And by the way, there's not a more reflective, more intelligent guy than Josh Minot that I've seen in the last 10 years in college basketball. For me, with the crew that has come through here, and we've had some pretty smart guys. This kid he's something else. And I think Penny realized in that Ole Miss game that he needs to play him more. Because clearly his athleticism, he's just young and still learning and not as, weight-wise as heavy and stout as some others. But he makes up for it with length and athleticism and probably deserves more playing time. And I think Penny kind of said that on his postgame show. But you're not winning games until you come together. And Penny was asked, and I think, because he didn't identify, but it doesn't take a Sherlock Holmes to sort through it all, the people that he was referring to that he was upset with were Lester Quinones, Landers Nolly, and DeAndre Williams. I will say that was the worst game in the collegiate career of Lester Quinones. I have no idea what is going on with Lester. Now, somebody might have posted somewhere on social media that he was ill and that he was still trying. I don't know. Lester, in my mind, has always been the glue guy. He's been the Antonio Anderson of this team. He's been a fiery guy who cares. I don't know, welcoming in the locker room and all that other stuff. I don't know about that. I really do not. On the airplane, it does seem to me that you got the old guys, but they've been together, hanging out, and the younger guys hanging out. I don't know if that's unusual. It seems people who come in with each other tend to end up being a little closer to each other. But Lester Quinones, first of all, he only didn't take a shot in the first half. He only played 15 minutes the whole game. And then he had rebounds in his hands that were just taken away. It was very odd. And Landers Nolly and DeAndre Williams were just never in sorts. And if they're the two that he's identifying as being unwelcoming, I don't know. But he was asked, Penny was, after the game, when he basically talked about the older guys, the NIT champions, and the way their attitudes have been selfish and not welcoming to these younger guys. He was asked whether they would all be back. Are we going to see guys leave? And he wasn't sure, which makes me not sure. And so what we see, because they're taking finals right now, what we see this coming Friday against Murray State, I wonder. I'm going to go to that unless it all breaks here before. But I'll be going down to FedEx Forum wondering when I talk to him, not about starting lineups, but who's here and who's not. And that could absolutely be a factor. One last thing, I got a text last night from my friend Brett Norsworthy, and Brett knows my love for a guy who got into the Baseball Hall of Fame finally. This is a great class, by the way. In case you didn't know, Minnie Minoso, who ended up playing in 5 different decades because the White Sox brought him back just, I think, for this feat. He ended up playing 5 different decades. And Minnie was just a great guy, originally from Cuba. He got in. Buck O'Neil, who absolutely deserved to be in the Hall of Fame before this, really an ambassador for baseball and for the African-American community in the old Negro leagues. One of the great gentlemen I've ever met in all of sport. He got in. Jim Cott with 283 wins. He deserved to get in. Tony Oliva, who had his career cut short by knee injuries, but was definitely, I don't know what the formula is. Is it up the upper 2% of your era or 3%, whatever it may be? He clearly was amongst that group. He got in. Gil Hodges, who was an 8-time All-Star, he got in. Bud Fowler, you may not know that guy because he was around in 1865. Bud Fowler is considered the very first African-American pro baseball player. So he got in. What a class. It came from 2 veterans committees, one for the old Negro leagues that should be honored, and the other was from the Veterans Committee. I'm so glad they put these guys in. That is absolutely terrific. It sort of made my weekend because this has not been a fun weekend for me. Although I was perfect in my locks. What is that, 3 times now?
Yeah.
1-3-0 and 2-0-3?
That's right, but it's perfect is perfect,
Well,
Dave.
I've just figured out how we're going to get even, how I'm going to get back in the game, even though it's my biggest weakness. We're doing all the bowl games. Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing all the bowl games.
I'll be terrible at that, so that's good.
I'll take it out of the sports time deal with Gabe and Stats. Now they do that. So I got to get back somehow. I'm so far behind now in this. Although you are 1 and 2.
Yeah, of the
not
two
like
of us,
you killed it.
Of the two of us, we only had 1 win this weekend, which is not ideal. But look, people know they should fade all of our picks, and they'd be winning money.
All right, so I'm giving us both a rust right now. You just so you know, 1 and 5. If people bet on us, now they're broke. They're not happy with us. That is for sure. By the way, very Christmassy. A little Jordan Christmas shirt on with New York Rangers. First of all, isn't that a little clashy? What you got going on there?
Well, maybe a little bit, but I this is my artifact, is what I guess you call it, from my trip to New York City, and I had to get a Rangers or Islanders hat, and they only had a Rangers hat, so I guess I'm a Rangers
Well,
guy.
that's an original 6. That's much better than the Islanders in my mind. But I don't think that color scheme, folks. If you're watching on Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever the heck we're on, I think we're on all of them.
All of them, YouTube, Twitch, you name it.
You got it. If you see, please. Don't go blind looking at this combination that he has on. All right, we've given you the locks now. We always do this, and we got to get to it because we got a busy show. Mike Fitzsimmons coming your way at 10:25, and then at 10:42, we'll talk with our friend T.J. Reeves. His Bucks beat the Falcons. And, boy, did you notice in the AFC, every divisional leader is 8-4?
The Ravens with a terrible loss yesterday to the Steelers. It's a tough AFC's tough conference.
They went for 2 because they didn't have any cornerbacks left. And
everyone says that was the right play, though. All the nerds,
I think it was the right play.
I think it was, too.
And frankly, the tight end got a hand on it, probably should have had it. Watt, and he forced that throw a little bit earlier than Lamar Jackson would have wanted. The kid could have brought it in, and he didn't. But you go for 2. And honestly, I like John Harbaugh's response when he was asked about why he went for 2. He said, well, I don't know if he said analytics are a part of it, but because the analytics do say, go for it. Although they're like 3 for 10 in the last few years on 2-point conversions, which 1 out of 3 ain't so good. But he said, I'm out of cornerbacks. Let's do it right here because I don't know if we can play defense against Big Ben and those guys.
Trust your offense.
Crazy. But if Buffalo wins tonight, they'll be 8-4.
Yeah.
Every divisional leader be 8-4. Pete Rozelle's smiling, I promise you, somewhere up in heaven. In the meantime, it is time for precious metals. I'm going to give my first bronze to Northern Illinois University. NIU wins the MAC. They're 9-4 this year. Do you know what they were last year?
What?
0-6.
Hey, 9 wins better.
Because of COVID, they only played 6 games. They didn't have a win. You know what they were picked in the MAC to finish?
Dead last.
Dead last. And what are they? Champions. Love it. Those folks in DeKalb, even though they're SIU rivals, I'm opening my heart to them today. I think that's a great turnaround story. I got to give a bronze medal to Jonathan Taylor, the Colts running back. So yesterday, he had 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's against Houston, right? So why is Wolo giving him a medal against the Texans? They're terrible. Here's why. He's now had 10 straight games that he has rushed for a touchdown. The last person in the NFL to do that was 14 years ago, 2004, when LaDainian Tomlinson had a rushing touchdown in 10 straight games.
Great company.
And Taylor now leads the National Football League with 16 rushing touchdowns this year. He gets a bronze from me. I'm going to give the silver medal to Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan defensive end, who between Ohio State and Iowa, 4 sacks in those 2 games. And the physical presence that was missing from Michigan since Jim Harbaugh arrived. That's the difference in the Ohio State game and in that blowout. 40 2-3, whatever it was, 7 against Iowa. I mean, it was just absolutely dominating because their lines won the football game for them. Unbelievable. And he was a big part of it. And then Bryce Young's got to get a silver medal. I think Bryce Young's going to win the Heisman Trophy, which, by the way, both Brett and I voted this past weekend. Bryce Young, 4,300 yards this year, 43 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions against the Georgia Bulldogs, the number 1 team in the nation at the time. 421 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm not giving him a rust, but I hate it for Stetson Bennett because those 2 interceptions in that game are absolutely the difference in that championship game. And I'm so happy that the Cincinnati Bearcats got in. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we actually have a playoff that has a group of 5 team in, finally getting the respect that they deserve. That's for sure. And I got 2 goals. 1 to the College Football Committee for giving the group of 5 that chance. And I guess they seeded it right. You know they weren't going to have Alabama and Georgia 2-3.
They don't need to play again in the first round.
No, that would have been stupid. It would have been just a replay. Now they'll wait for that for the championship game, maybe, because they're both favored. Bama's a 14-point favorite over Cincinnati. And Georgia, anywhere from 7.5 to 9, I've seen, favorite over Michigan. So we'll see if the SEC is clearly this elite league. It is set up that way. And my final gold medal goes to 17,000 runners who participated in this weekend's St. Jude Memphis Marathon to donate to that incredible institution, that hospital that saves children here in Memphis.
I had some friends run that. Unfortunately, I did not partake in the marathon running, but nonetheless, you're right. It's a great cause.
Okay.
I have my bronze medal. Mine are NBA themed today. My bronze medal goes to Obi Toppin, who is out of the University of Dayton.
Yeah.
He's an incredible motor. I saw a video on Twitter of him like literally running suicides up and down the court, just going up and down. He's unbelievable. He's averaging 8 points and 3 rebounds on the season. Those aren't world-beating numbers, but I would contend that I've never seen someone affect the game more without being a primary ball handler, without facilitating offense than this guy.
You know what? When he was at Dayton, that team was great, and I loved him. And I remember so many people saying the kid cannot be a stalwart in the NBA. It's just not good enough. He'll try, but he's not good enough. I think it's a great story because he's not going to be a star, but you got to have people that are rotation guys.
You have to.
And if he knows his role and works his tail off with that, is a good citizen. I'm so happy for Obi Toppin because I like the guy.
No, he's been incredible. My silver medal goes to Ish Smith, who former Grizzly Ish Smith. He started for the Hornets yesterday against the Hawks because LaMelo Ball was out and a bunch of other guys were out with health and safety protocols or whatever.
Yeah, it's COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Ish Smith started yesterday. He had 18.7 assists, 7 assists, 1 turnover. He has the last 3 seasons the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the league. Doesn't turn the ball over. Second place, though, Tyus Jones, Grizzly backup point guard.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. That's my silver medal goes to Ish Smith.
You know what? I think Tyus Jones every year leads the league in ratio.
Yeah.
I think I never turns the ball over.
No, he and Ish Smith are always at the top.
The other night, he had 9 assists, 0 turnovers.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Protecting the basket. That's the key if you're going to be a backup point guard. Yeah. Don't turn the ball over.
Tigers, if you're listening, look at Tyus Jones.
My gold medal is going to go to Kevin Durant and DeMar DeRozan, both guys. They played each other. The Bulls and the Nets did the other night. The last 5 minutes of the game, these guys just went back and forth, one-on-one for the last 5 minutes. Neither of them missed. It was one of the most incredible performances I've ever seen. The Bulls ended up winning 111-107. Unbelievable game. I had a great weekend of watching basketball, other than the Tigers. But, I mean, other than that, great NBA weekend, so I had to give all my medals to NBA guys.
So you're watching basketball instead of the college football playoffs?
Well, no. See, I got multiple TVs going. Those TVs with sound have basketball on. The TVs without sound have football on. But that's just I'm a basketball guy.
Okay. Dude. All right. My rust, very simple, goes to the Tigers. You can't turn the ball over 20 times when you'd actually done a better job switching offenses, getting it down to 11 against Georgia, and then just reverting. And the 20 points off the turnovers, at one time it was a 15-point differential. It ended up being 20-10, but those 10 points in a close game make all the difference in the world. Plus, if you'd hit your free throws, you'd have won by double digits.
Right.
That combination is it's almost ridiculous. I don't understand how guys who are as dedicated as they are to their game could be that careless with the ball and such poor free throw shooters. I don't know if that's focus. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if it's not enough practice to get the muscle memory and get the ingrained rhythm. I have no idea exactly what it is, but for that level to shoot at that percentage, and it won for a lot of the game. Now, they made some late in the game, but for a lot of the game, they were shooting 49%, 43%. I mean, crazy numbers for a major top 25 college basketball team, which they will not be after today.
I bet they're shooting free throws this week in practice. I guarantee that. And it's discipline on defense, too. Fouling too much. In the Georgia game and against Ole Miss, fouling late. You're down 5 points. You can't foul in positions like that. But either way, my rust goes to the Carolina Panthers. And I'm not a football junkie, Dave. I don't know all the politics and everything that goes into coaching football. But the Panthers and Matt Rule fired Joe Brady this weekend, who you'll remember when he was the offensive coordinator at LSU. Oh, a big deal. Everyone's got to go get Joe Brady. Everyone wants Joe Brady.
Oh, yeah. And they were still talking about when LSU was looking for a coach, maybe they should get Joe Brady.
Exactly. And so they fired Joe Brady this week. There's some rumor mills going around that saying they fired him because he was looking too much at college jobs rather than focusing on the job at hand. So I kind of understand that. But, I mean, Carolina destroys their entire program to rebuild again with Matt Rule and Joe Brady, and 2 years later you go and fire Joe Brady. I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you never know behind the scenes.
Exactly.
I mean,
so
Matt Rule might have said
that.
Joe Brady's just a young guy and he's not mature enough. Who knows? Because I remember, I think we talked with Ron Higgins about Joe Brady. He goes, Joe Brady's not ready to be a head football coach.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently not ready to be an NFL coordinator either.
And those are your precious metals. As I mentioned, Fitzy and TJ still to come. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I want you to get to the real Family Leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road, where arcades are up to 25% off. Yes, it's all in time for Christmas to make your family's Christmas just terrific. Air hockey and foosball tables. They actually start at under $150. That's amazing to me. Pool tables, they're state-of-the-art. Shuffleboard tables, they're in stock, ready for delivery. You'll get great deals on hot tubs and saunas. And trampolines are up to 20% off. The delivery schedule is filling up. Please get in now. Reserve your date in time for Christmas at Family Leisure. And this portion of our show brought to you by the Spirit Shop. That's that little log cabin right there at Poplar and St. Nick. I know the weekend's done, and you probably are all out of stock from all the football and basketball games. And like me, I was drinking to drown my sorrows. And if you were in that same boat, today's a new day. The sun did come up. It's a little chilly, but it came up. Go. Get ready to celebrate again, because this is the season of celebration. It really is. And who knows what happens right around the corner, so you want to be prepared. And the way to prepare is to go to 4848 Poplar Avenue. That's Poplar in St. Nick. Go in and see the Connor family. Go, Eddie, explain to me what makes a good bourbon, what makes a great bourbon. He'll tell you. Maybe aging, it may be the way the distiller does it. They also have Old Dominic in there, just so you know. I want to let you know all that. Any kind of accessory that you want, if you want something to rim a glass for a particular drink, they got all of it. They've got accessories. They got every beer. They got all the rare wines and the up-and-comers and some bargains. Everything you need for spirits right there at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. Mike Fitzsimmons to talk on the SEC championship game and to talk about Lane Kiffin. $7.5 million a year? Not a bad deal for Lane Kiffin. He signs an extension with Ole Miss, so he's not going anywhere. That's got to make Rebel fans happy today, for sure, as you listen to Wolo and Friends.
It's a new show with a new time. But Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane are back with Sports 56 Grind Time. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We know at Conway Services the timing is not always right for you to have heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical problems. So during the holiday season, if you should find yourself in need of any of these services, just know that Conway Services is always ready to serve with financing options available. During the month of December, Conway Services is offering our year-end heating system closeout for as low as $79 per month. That's right, replace your heating system with Conway Services by year-end for as low as $79 per month. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner, a free programmable thermostat, and a 10-year parts warranty. And you know with Conway Services, you'll receive our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Kevin Harlan and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One with a preview of a great game to wrap up Week 13, the hottest team in the NFL. The New England Patriots take their 6-game winning streak, Kurt, into Buffalo to face the Bills. It's the first meeting between the teams this year, but it feels like a must-win.
It doesn't get any bigger than this at this time of year, Kevin, and you're talking about the Patriots. What I love about the Patriots is that they are a complete team. They're a young quarterback playing really, really well, but they're not asking him to do everything. Great power run game, and then, of course, you have the defense with a bunch of versatile players against a Buffalo Bills team that is really about Josh Allen. Big play after big play. Can he carry this team over a complete team in the New England Patriots?
Join us for the Pats of the Bills coming up on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 6688 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 6688. Enjoy!
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again, it's the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus in America.
We just got chastised a bit on the AutoZone text line. That's 901-360-8255. We love your texts. We don't mind getting corrected. It's absolutely perfect. Again, get in the zone, AutoZone, with our AutoZone text line. And that is, and this is true, the SEC should have gotten a medal for getting 13 teams bowl eligible. Now, some of that is pretty creative cupcake scheduling with your non-conference, because you guarantee yourself 3, then all you got to do is go 3-5 and you're going to get in. But it is something. I mean, look at LSU had to do that in the last game. That was pretty good to get 13. So you know what? They get a medal. Texter on that AutoZone text line, we appreciate your making us aware. Did you notice your water heater not heating as well as last winter? During the cold winter months, the groundwater colder, requires more heat to get that water warm, and sometimes those old inefficient tank water heaters just can't keep up. That's the truth. Now it's time for technology that is fantastic. It may be time for you to call Conway about a tankless water heater that never runs out of hot water, and they're making it the perfect time to get a new tankless water heater with 12 months interest-free, or John will give you $250 for your old tank water heater, plus the energy-saving models only heat the water you use, so you save money on your gas bill every month, and you don't never have to worry about a tank bursting in your attic and all that water dripping down because there's no tank. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the home of the tankless water heater. To Oxford we go. What a beautiful little town. My wife and I really enjoyed night on the town. We did not enjoy the game very much, the Hoops game, but we're here to talk football with former SEC great Michael Fitzsimmons. Fitzy, I sort of think the difference in the game between Alabama and Georgia was that their quarterback, Stenson Bennett, he threw 2 picks. You seem to think there's somebody else to blame, according to your texts.
Well, it was frustrating to watch. And you see Georgia's been there, David. Good morning, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a wonderful weekend down here with Gail, and it is a wonderful place. But, I'll tell you, college football, you have 2 semi-pro teams, Georgia and Alabama, went at it, David, and that was Alabama's most complete football game. That they've only played 2 complete football games in all phases of the game, and they were the games that when you have the resources and 100 coaches, assistants on staff, and personnel, when Nick Saban and Alabama circle you on the schedule, David, they prepare for you all year. And 2 complete performances from the Crimson Tide just so happened to be Alabama versus Ole Miss and the Georgia Bulldogs. So, it's funny, but I'm excited for the rematch. But when Alabama and that staff comes at you, and Saban coached marvelously. He had those. He always has his football teams ready on an even keel. And you want to blame quarterbacks or situations? I blame. You ready for this, David?
Yeah.
Kirby, not smart. I watch these games and people get on Lane Kiffin for statistics, and I get it. I go back to that game when it was 31-17 in the fourth quarter. They got 4th and 9 inside the 19. The field compresses like a vice. There's no space for 22 NFL players. It's the red zone. You kick a field goal there, David. If you make it a 2-point game right there. Literally, I didn't understand that move. It was panic. It was not statistics. So, why was it a big deal? Well, it was 31-17. You kick a field goal there, it's 11. It's a 2-score game, and there's a whole quarter of football left. So I didn't agree with that move. Alabama goes right down the field, and all of a sudden it's 38-17. The Dogs go in 2 minutes. Georgia shuts the Tide down defensively. because they locked them down. I think it took Alabama. Georgia took, I think, 2 minutes, David, to run 3 series. You understand?
Yeah.
They didn't take anything off. So
Right.
the whole momentum of the game in that point, it made no sense to me. If Bama punts, maybe it's a different game, but it was a good football game. There were some spectacular players out there. And one I'm going to bring up, number 31, the Anderson kid. What a special player he is. Trust me, David, that kid has a chance to be a Hall of Fame player. I've seen a lot of college football players, and there were a lot of great ones out there. But that young man, he can put on 20 pounds. You talk about a special player. He kind of reminds me, ready for this, David? He's got a little bit of that LT dog in him on his tail. You understand me?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, what do you think it was? You mentioned the 2 complete games. The biggest missing ingredient for Alabama for the majority of the year has been offensive line play, and yet they did a spectacular job on Georgia's defensive front. What do you think that was all about?
Well, you know what? Here's the game plan is what happened. Nick Saban knows what he's doing, David. I mean, he knows how Kirby Smart coaches. He knows everything about him. And they ran a lot of jet sweeps outside. They were not going to run inside the tackles. So, credit the offensive line, but credit the game plan, because early on they were running east and west and getting those big defensive linemen moving their feet and getting sideways, and then they'd hit it up in there. But Alabama knew they were going to have to throw the football, and credit the young man who probably won the Heisman Saturday. He has wonderful stats, and he got paid a lot of money prior to him even doing it. But credit him. He had one hell of a game, and I don't know who you voted for. I'm still a Matt Corral kid. I believe that the Heisman shouldn't be just about whoever wins the national title, because I don't think if you put that young man Young on the Ole Miss Rebels, I don't think they're 10-2 and playing in the Sugar Bowl, David. I mean, and if Matt Corral was playing for the Crimson Tide or Georgia, they'd be undefeated. He's that special. So a lot of good football left. The Rebels are going to the Sugar Bowl.
I know.
That's special,
that is
David.
terrific. It was a good weekend for Ole Miss. They knock off a ranked team, and according to Kermit Davis, that's their 4th straight ranked win going back to last year against a ranked team. And then Lane Kiffin signed his contract extension. Looks like Mario Cristobal is going to end up Miami. Manny Diaz got fired this morning. And so Kiffin is all inked up, about $7.5 million a year for the next 4 years?
Yeah, and I credit Keith Carter, who has the vision and what and where he wants the athletic program to go, David. He's phenomenal. I remember him as a player, and I go back a long way. He reminds me of old Jimmy Chitwood. Keith Carter was one hell of a competitor, and he's competing right now as an athletic director, and he's going out, and kudos to Lane Kiffin. I mean, I think he knows what he has, and one of my favorite quotes from him is the stone by stone. Keep throwing stones at him, because he's going to build something at Ole Miss stone by stone, and just keep chunking them.
That's not to be confused with brick by brick, is it? Because that didn't go anywhere for Butch Jones. Just throwing that out there.
You know what? No, well, brick by brick, that's going to be starting. Where's Florida playing at? In the Gasparilla Bowl? I think they might need to go brick by brick. How about the Gators, David? They realize this. The last time they played inside this early before December, before Christmas, it was the Tangerine Bowl. You understand? In 1980.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, next week we'll talk about the chances that Cincinnati has against Alabama, and if Michigan, they're both underdogs, if Michigan
I love Cincinnati.
can hang with the Georgia Bulldogs, because they're still going to have the same coach and the same quarterback. We got to take a quick break. My friend, happy holidays to you, Fitzy, and we'll talk next Monday.
Hey, guys, thank y'all so much. Have a great day.
That's our man, Mike Fitzsimmons, brought to you by Old Dominic, proud hometown partners of the Tigers. They always say, share a sip responsibly, and they've got a couple of cool things that you need to know about. They have distillery tours at this beautiful place at 305 South Front Street, which is a 45-minute history lesson that ends with a tasting. And you also learn about the craft of distilling. It's really a cool thing. And then there's their bar, elegant but not stuffy. All you got to do is go to olddominic.com. You'll find out the bar hours. No reservations are necessary. And you can find out about the availability of these tours. Go find out about Domenico Canali. Go take a look at how they do it all under the watchful gaze of their master distiller, Alex Castle. I promise you, you'll love everything about Memphis's hometown distillery, Old Dominic. We pause for a second. To Tampa we go. TJ Reeves comes your way in a minute.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is one of those months when you're going to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, making those once-a-year recipes that everybody's expecting. So the last thing you want to do is worry every day about what to make for breakfast or lunch. Instead, swing by Sunrise on Jefferson for some good old-fashioned homemade flavor you don't actually have to make at home. Sunrise will do it for you. Grab a mess of breakfast sandwiches to feed a crowd, or grab lunch for everyone from Sunrise, where the food is always prepared fast and fresh. Sunrise may not be able to make Nana's famous congealed salad, but we can fill in for the rest of it. Always fresh, always here for you. It's Sunrise.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Tried Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema? It works at and below the skin surface and can be used on almost everybody, like on the dimples of a diva.
Yeah, roll your boat. Yeah, roll your boat.
Or the shoulders of a chef.
Look, Mom, I made jelly beans on toast.
Steroid-free Eucrisa works at and below the skin surface. It blocks PDE4 enzymes, which is believed to reduce inflammation, even on the wrist of a rebel.
What did you do to your hair?
What? The specific way Eucrisa works is not well defined. Prescription Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema is for topical use only in ages 3 months and up. Do not use if you are allergic to Eucrisa, crisaborole ointment 2%, or its ingredients. Allergic reactions including hives, itching, swelling, and redness may occur at or near the application site. The most common side effect is application site pain, such as burning or stinging.
Come on, moms and dads. Check out eucrisa.com and ask your doctor about Eucrisa.
Can I sing one more song?
Hey friends, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. You're probably thinking now about what to get that wonderful lady in your life for Christmas. And if you want something special, let me give you some advice. Special gifts do not come with a cord or a plug. The best gifts come in small boxes, make her eyes sparkle, and those gifts are our strongest point at Russell Brothers. A beautiful diamond bracelet or perhaps a pair of stunning diamond studs could make you a real hero on Christmas morning. Maybe she's dropped some hints about a gold and diamond necklace, or you want to surprise her with a magnificent ring that says, I love you. Stunning gifts of jewelry come in so many different flavors, and we've got them all just waiting for you at Russell Brothers. We've been helping Memphis shoppers for 5 decades, and we would love to help you become a part of the Russell Brothers family. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins, and remember, no cords and no plugs. Let us help you be the best Santa you can possibly be. Russell Brothers Jewelers.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
To Tampa we go. Our friend T.J. Reeves, smile on his face. His Buccaneers winners yesterday in Atlanta. He's gotten home safe and sound. It's crazy. The National Football League just noticed everybody in the AFC West, especially if Buffalo wins tonight, and I think they're going to. If they do, everybody will be 8-4. I mean, you're talking about Pete Rozelle smiling from heaven. This is exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be with you. So you've got some competitive parity in the AFC, and now the Buccaneers with a 3-game win streak. Feeling good about things right now in the NFC. Still a long way to go. You know this. 5 games left in the regular season. Expanded playoffs. But with the Tampa Bay win yesterday, they have all but locked up the division, which means home game upcoming, at least one in January. So we're happy for that. I'm disappointed. I know you've been talking about it. I'm disappointed about the Tigers. I have faith in Penny Hardaway to turn it around. Let's see if that gets turned around. All I know is I've been traveling to, like, Indianapolis. I've been traveling to Atlanta. I will go next to Charlotte with the Buccaneers. Wolo is rolling to, like, Brooklyn to the Barclays Center. Are you going to Hawaii for the Tigers in Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
How about that for a bowl game? That's not exactly the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. You scored Hawaii for Tiger football as well. That's why you are who you are, my friend.
Let's say this. Let's give the proper due. That goes to Ryan Silverfield.
Right.
Because I will tell you that going to Hawaii is usually a loser. Because your fans can't go. It's Christmas Eve.
Right.
Unless somebody has a great deal of capital behind them, let's say, and they want to bring
income.
and they want to bring the whole family, and they stay after Christmas. You know, that's a cool trip for everybody. But Ryan wanted to it's a loser, basically, is what I was saying. Fans can't go. It's really expensive to get there, even though you do get some help from the conference with that tie-in. So, but you're not making money on the bowl. You're going to lose some, and you just hope you limit your losses. And I think Memphis has done a pretty good job of limiting that exposure. But still, you don't make money. This was to reward players to get a little vacation out of the whole thing. This is a tough year. 47 different players were hurt during this season, and it didn't turn out to be the grand year that you wanted, but you still made a bowl for 8 straight years.
Right.
And so these guys deserve that, and Ryan basically went to the athletic director and said, look, I really want these guys to have this treat, and then Laird Veach made it happen.
That is a very cool thing, and you're right. And it's neat that Memphis continues that streak, and let's see what happens in that bowl game. We got to get the basketball team back rolling. But, again, you asked me about the NFL, and we're eager to watch this Monday night game tonight because the Buffalo Bills are the Buccaneers' next opponent next Sunday. So the Bills will come here. I have been told a good buddy of mine, Sal Capaccio, is the sideline guy for the Bills. He's my counterpart for the Bills radio network.
What's happened to them? I thought they were Super Bowl bound.
Sal was tweeting it is supposed to be in the upper 20s, mid-30s with snow tonight in Buffalo. Might be slightly different for Sal in his shirt and his swimsuit to come to Tampa Bay for 80 degrees next Sunday.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit different if we're watching Monday Night Football tonight in the snow.
You know what? When you talk about that cold weather, that doesn't bother Bill Belichick and the Patriots either. They're used to that, so there's no advantage, I don't think. Obviously, for your buddy, it's going to be nice to go to Tampa. I think this should be one of the better Monday night matchups that we have had all year long, and I think this is also a Peyton and Eli deal, isn't it? Aren't they on the night too?
That is correct.
Okay,
They're also involved, and everybody's been wondering down here about whether or not Tom Brady would be rooting for the Patriots. Would he be anti against the Buffalo Bills? If he's watching this game tonight, we'll see. Brady owned the Bills, obviously. I think they won like 18 times in a row at one point against Buffalo.
Yeah.
Hey, think about that now. 9 straight years where you don't lose to them once.
Right. Well, they
but
won
the Bills.
They won the division every year.
Last year. Right.
Yeah. The news this morning in your state, Miami, has fired Manny Diaz.
Unreal.
Most people think it'll be Mario Cristobal.
Unreal.
What's your sense?
If it's not Mario Cristobal now because of that, then they have just totally bungled this, because my understanding, the AD hire, Stanikovic, from Clemson, that's not done and that's not announced, right? So
right.
What happens if he decides he doesn't want to come be the AD, and what happens if Mario Cristobal decides the grass isn't greener at Miami, I'm going to stay at Oregon?
I'm going to say the firing of Diaz did not occur until all those ducks were in a row, that the new AD is coming and that Cristobal has already talked with him and agreed to come, or you would not have fired Manny Diaz today.
You would think, but they've been so dysfunctional at Miami that it's not surprising. And again, yeah, I love your ducks in a row pun, unintended there.
I know.
But Phil Knight money and Oregon money, and in particular, when Cristobal watched Willie Taggart go and completely flame out at Florida State in 2 years, maybe the grass isn't greener at Miami, but again, he's a Miami guy. He's a former Miami assistant. Maybe that is about to be what's going to happen here. I don't know, but Florida with a new coach, Billy Napier from Louisiana, and now Miami will have someone else other than Manny Diaz.
Last thing, because I don't want to run out of time with you, and that has to do with Cincinnati being the very first ever group of 5 team to crash the dance and make it to the playoffs, and what kind of chances you think they might have against Bama, which is now a 14-point favorite by Vegas. Yeah.
I thought it would open at like 11 or 12. It already opened at 14. And Alabama was so good on Saturday, blowing out Georgia, and then they had to fumigate all the Georgia fans out of their stupor and disappointment for the Falcon game yesterday with the Buccaneers. I think it's great. I mean, what Luke Fickell and company were able to do this year proves that if you have played a tough enough out-of-conference schedule, which they had with the win at Notre Dame, and you've got 2 or 3 quality wins against an SMU and a Houston late, that it can be enough under those circumstances. And we'll see what they come up with on expanding the playoff, but it's good for this year on the inclusion, and that Georgia-Michigan game will be wild as well. I got a lot of Michigan fans, friends, and media members that are riding high right now. I'm like, don't ride too high, because Georgia's going to be angry playing against Michigan. We got a month to talk about all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be wild.
I agree with that, but I will say this to you. Michigan's physicality on both sides of the ball in the trenches, that was missing, in my mind, in the Harbaugh era. It's back, and that's why they were so good, and I think they got a shot at Michigan, which at Georgia, which is now shell-shocked, because I certainly didn't see that coming, to give up all that great defense, to give up all those points to Alabama. Whoa. I mean.
Well, says a lot for Alabama, and it's going to be wild to watch the college football playoff unfold, and the bowls will be here, and we've got the NFL winding down. Let's get the Tigers straightened out. You got to work on that. Let's see if we can get Penny Hardaway's got to work on that coming up. And I am not a big fan on calling out your players in the media, et cetera, because that can go 2 ways.
Yeah,
and more than likely it goes the wrong way. But let's see if he can rally the troops here.
Let's see if there's any changes that are made personnel-wise, transfer portal and other things of that nature, because it sure appeared that might be where all this was heading. We'll, of course, talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. TJ, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll do this again next Tuesday. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Or Monday.
Always
Monday.
good to be with you there in the River City. And I knew you meant it's Monday.
Yeah.
All our days are running together. You be well, boys. See you
Thank
later.
you. That is our guy, TJ. Brought to you by James Davis Menswear, the perfect fit pant, the perfect fit shirt. That's Stant. New technology and algorithm, 2 measurements, 3 measurements, perfect fitting, very affordable. Oh my gosh, you're going to love it. I promise you, especially for the holiday season. And if you're looking for something to give, go in, say you want a gift card so that you can get the Stant. The only way you can get the Stant, the only place, that is the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. It is the men's store, has been for a long time. Go check it out. All the guys still there. You'll love the place, James Davis. We thank TJ. We thank Fitzy. Johnny Radio is next. Have a great day, everyone.
The folks at Homer's Kelton